What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. In today's video, I want to talk about 4 or 5 very strange factors that's causing absolute chaos here in this country with respect to the election. And by the end of today's video, you're going to be asking yourself, was there widespread cheating going on, or is this country of ours moving to the far left in a very big way? So ladies and gentlemen, in a slightly different open, pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, ice cold beer, glass of wine, here we go. All right, strange factor number 1, cutting to the chase. 6 million popular vote advantage to the GOP. You would expect that, right? Which leads me to strange factor number 2. There wasn't a single poll, not one, not even Real Clear Politics, which is an average of all the above. Not one poll heading into this election had the Democrats hanging on to the Senate, let alone only trailing by 2, maybe 3 in the House. So my question to you as we progress through this video, and I asked a poll both on YouTube and Twitter the other day, do you think the Democrats cheated with respect to mail-in ballots? YouTube, 62% said cheating. Twitter, 74% said cheating. So let's round it off to somewhere around 70% of this country, Democrat, Independent, and Republican, think that there was some form of cheating going on. But I want to take the other side. I do believe, as the lights go out here in Atlanta, that cheating has probably gone on to some level or another for decades. Whatever the hidden hand wants, the hidden hand gets. However, I do think it's possible that Donald Trump slipped through the cracks. That was a shocker. That was Crooked Hillary and Slick Willie, if you remember him dancing in the back room when they were going to take over the White House. I think they, because they're connected to the hidden hand, were shocked that for some reason, some way, somehow, Donald Trump, who used to be a Democrat, now turned Republican, slipped through the cracks. And since then, the Democrats have mastered what's called ballot harvesting, mail-in votes, where they have these large youth events or they go knocking on doors, especially in urban communities, and they explain, in my opinion, why you can get all this free stuff, free healthcare, free education, free this, free fucking that, and it'll become obvious why I think that way before the end of this video. Just sign on the dotted line. We'll take care of the votes for you. That's why it suddenly, out of nowhere, days after the election has ended, all these ballots come rolling in. And is it ever in the favor of the Republicans? Not a single time to my knowledge. Even in Arizona, where Kari Lake was supposed to get the last 25% of the votes, largely in her favor, Maricopa County, etc., and yet they're coming in 60%, if not more, for Hobbs, who, by the way, runs the election in Arizona. But I digress. I am going to argue with you that I don't think, if I was forced to decide, is it widespread cheating, or is it because this country is moving to the far left? I think it's the latter. Allow me to continue. Right track, wrong track in this country. 71% on the exit polls said we're going the wrong way, which means there were a lot of Democrats, independents like myself, and Republicans who said, we need to go this way. We've been going that way. We got a wide open southern border. The stock market until recently had been in free fall. Inflation's at 40-year highs. The Afghanistan exit was a total disaster. I could keep going. Everyone was saying, 71% anyway, we should go this way after 2 years of going that way. And strange factor number 4, and this is one that I find absolutely perplexing. Joe Biden is the most unpopular president of my entire lifetime. If you take his 2-year average of polling, he's below Trump and even Jimmy Carter. So somebody explain to me, respectfully, of course, in the comments below, if you have the GOP getting 6 million more popular votes than Democrats, if you have a 71% wrong track across the country, if Joe Biden is in fact the most unpopular president of the last 50 plus years, and not one single poll had projected the Democrats hanging on to the Senate, let alone making the House extremely competitive. How in the world is that the case if there's no cheating? One could easily make the case that there is cheating. All these mail-ins, ballot harvesting, they're sitting in some dark room somewhere, maybe in multiple locations in Arizona and California in particularly, and they've got some sort of payoff going on with the big guy, so they know exactly how many need to come in over the finish line in the days after the election. Because again, it never favors the Republicans, however. Strange factor number 5. Single unmarried women, with children out of wedlock, and Gen Z under 30 broke 3-1 in favor of Democrats. 3-1 in favor of Democrats. So if you're a single woman who's got children, you're living in an inner city, and they come by and explain to you all these stimulus checks, which they've already proven they can send out during the pandemic, or the forgiveness, which is now illegal based on the Supreme Court ruling, or at least the judge's ruling, with respect to the student loan forgiveness. They somehow convince you and the Gen Z under 30 crowd that you need to go with the blue team. You need to go with the free checks. You need to go with the free stuff. You need to go with the team that understands that life is all about experience. Because after all, you don't want to work like Jason does, do you? You don't want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start tweeting at the world. You don't want to sit in front of a computer until you're about ready to pee your pants looking for the next idea. And by the way, stay tuned. HLBZ's got earnings after the bell. If it jumps over 30 cents, I may pull the trigger and take some profits. You don't want to have to be obsessed, spending your entire life building a small business like many of you and myself, when you can just shack up with your buddies. Get 4, 5, 6 of you, 7 of you in a room in a penthouse on the beach in Miami. Or if you happen to be struggling as a single mother, we'll lie to you, but we'll also throw enough crumbs your way to have you convinced that life for the blue team is going to be better. And even though you and I agree, even you, Miss Single Mother or 29-year-old kid, you and I agree that Joe Biden's a fucking train wreck. He's the most unpopular, unfit, unqualified president in the entire lifetime of yours truly, 52 years on this planet. Even though not a single poll projected the Democrats to do so well. What right track, wrong track, 71% said we're going the wrong way, which means a ton of Democrats in particular said what? I've got the most unpopular president. 70% of us, including myself, think we're going the wrong way. There wasn't a single poll, not one, that projected the Democrats to do so well, but we're supposed to believe there wasn't any cheating. It could very well be that this country, based on strange factor number 5, unmarried women out of wedlock that have kids, and Gen Z, it could very well be, especially in the coasts of LA, San Francisco, New York, etc., that this country is turning into Italy, France, Greece. If you know anything about those countries, they have a very large unemployment rate among the youth. In some cases in Greece, it's as high as 50%. 40% or greater in Italy. And it's not because two tourist countries, by the way, slow down, Jason. It's not because there aren't any jobs. It's because they don't want to work. They're buying into the notion, like John Fetterman, who, mark my words, if he recovers from a stroke, is Bernie Sanders Jr. This guy could very well be, at a minimum, a vice president, or a maximum someday, president of this country. If you listen to him before the stroke, he's very articulate. He's not a dumb guy. He wants to let everybody out of prison, mass murderers included. He wants heroin injection sites. He wants to legalize prostitution. He wants to turn this country into Shangri-La. And by the way, Lisbon, Portugal, legalized hardcore drugs several years ago. And guess what? Usage actually went down by 40%. Folks, I'm telling you right now, this country of ours, even though I am open to the idea that they're cheating like there's no tomorrow out there, especially in Arizona and California with this ballot harvesting, the even bigger shocker, the even bigger factor, the even bigger holy shit moment for this guy right here is our country is going down a rabbit hole of something we may as well call socialism. And they're rebranding it. And this is where Barack Obama is brilliant. They're rebranding it as the fight for democracy. They're rebranding democracy into what is really socialism, or what some might even call modernized communism. And what you see going on in China right now with those drones and QR codes, where everything you do is track, trace, and monitored in real time, and the government has control of the locks on the outside of your apartment or your house door, is coming west to a USA theater near you. This Project 2030, and I'm not going to go on and on in this video about that, is a scary situation. So the question that I want to leave you with is, I hope you pipe up in the comments below as to what you think. Are we cheating here? Or is our country slowly but surely going down the rabbit hole, and due in large part to Gen Z and single unmarried women who are buying into this socialistic utopia that's being rebranded as a fight for democracy? How do we survive? I'm 52. Average age, based on research that we've done on our site, mid to upper 40s. What do we do? What are the grinders, the hustlers, the entrepreneurs, the scratchers, the clawers, the people that want more for their families? They don't want to sit home and fucking play video games and on the hooch. They might do that once in a great while, but only on the weekends or vacation when they've got their shit taken care of. How are we going to survive in this country if it turns into Spain and all of a sudden at 2 o'clock we just start taking a nap? Or 4 o'clock in the UK when it's tea and crumpets time? Or in parts of Italy especially, or even France for that matter, it's not unusual for a guy to disappear for lunch at noon and never come back. And if you've ever had dinner in Italy, you sit down at your table at 8, you get up at midnight. They don't turn tables like they do here in the United States. Our youth, our single unmarried women with children in particular, are buying into this free shit and free money, and you don't have to pay anything back. And they're probably going to go after mortgages next. They're going to figure out a way to buy votes, to maintain power. And as long as we've got this mail-in ballot harvesting shit that the Republicans don't seem willing to even push back on, this country is probably going to be nearly impossible to turn the Titanic in time before there's never going to be a centrist, lean right candidate to ever hold the White House. And that leaves you and me. What do? We do exactly what we're trying to do with small biz. This video is a bit all over the place. I really don't care. I am slowly but surely stepping into my purpose. These videos will become shorter, crisper, and perhaps even more controversial. And what I learned in the last one, I can't say the F word 14 times. I spoke to someone very high up at YouTube today. They said you would get 50% more views if you would stop swearing more than 2 or 3 times in a video. I believe I just said it once. So I have to cut back. Anytime I go off the rails and say F this, F that, they're never going to put me out there. But mark my words, folks, I'm going to figure this out. We need to come together. We need to buy, sell, barter, connect, learn, grow, laugh, cry, get together face-to-face, over the phone, via Zoom. We have to come together in large numbers with a singular purpose of making money in the stock market. Texting service starts either in December or early January. You got to be a premium member at Try Small Biz if you want to take part in that. But we have to come together. We cannot allow or even stop this from happening. I am one guy. There's maybe 1,000 people watching this. Let's be honest. If the hidden hand or the powers that be want to take us down a socialist rabbit hole, rebranded as the fight for democracy, it's probably going to happen. Most importantly, in terms of where we focus our effort, our love, our resources, is coming together. How do we fight back against this with each other? How do we make money? How do we create enough wealth so that we can make money in the stock market that would supply more than ample enough income for you and your family, no matter what these mofos, it's hard to stop swearing, want to do to our country? Because it appears we're going in that direction. And the problem we have, and I've said this before and I'll close out with this, we have milquetoast not only running this country, but everywhere you look, where are the Mavericks? Where are the real men that built this country? Where's the James Coburns, the Lee Marvins, the Charles Bronsons, the young Clint Eastwoods? They're nowhere to be found. Even The Rock is becoming cosmopolitan. Even he's playing the game with the Matrix. There's no more alpha men. Alpha is out, like I told a friend of mine. Beta is in. Yours truly has been kicked out of 2 high-end restaurants in the last 2 years. You know why? Not because of fighting. Having too much fun. I'm the guy that will go sit down at a table of 12 women and order a round of shots. And we end up having too much fun, too much laughing. And right over my shoulder will be some beta who's miserable as hell, maybe out with his wife, who complains to the maitre d'. They come over, maybe warn me once, but if I don't settle it down, I'm asked to leave. That sort of thing in the 1980s or the 1990s when I was on Wall Street was to be expected of men. But now, with plummeting testosterone rates in this mass programming that we need to stand in line 6 feet apart, wear a mask, sit down and shut up, it is emasculating men. And now I could just keep going with the whole genderless castration of young children, educating them through drag shows. This country is going down the shitter. I hate to say that, but it's true. We have to come together. We have to figure out ways to make money, to learn from one another, to grow together, because what's around the bend is pretty scary. Till next time, always remember that I love you, and thanks for watching.